Hi everyone, we're recording this program a few days after I returned from a special live broadcast from Meron. It was a great experience, and so today's program will be significantly influenced by this event. Let's get the show on the road. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. Lag BaOmer, literally the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer, fell this year on Tuesday, May 16th. Lag BaOmer marks the day of passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Rashbi. Now, although this day marks the death of an important sage, it is a day of great celebration for the Jewish people, since on this day Rabbi Shimon revealed the fundamental Kabbalistic teachings of the Zohar. Between the 14th and the 16th of May, INN TV staff, together with the Israel National Radio crew, spent time in the Galilean town of Meron, where the tomb of Rashbi is located. From Meron, we held a special 26-hour live broadcast. First, let's begin with the preparations in Meron a few days before Lag BaOmer.
3 days before Lag BaOmer, the area is far from crowded. However, the fire is being lit.
Throughout the whole year, people light memorial fires here. Shemen, or oil, is the same letters of neshama, or soul. It's in memory of the righteous that he should pray for the nation of Israel. On Lag BaOmer, the day of the passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, we all light fire to sanctify his soul.
24 hours a day, people are busy preparing the site for the hundreds of thousands planned to arrive here on Lag BaOmer. There will be free drinks for everybody. Things are busy, but the spirit is high.
In the merit of Rabbi Shimon, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. We can't explain this. Without a miracle, how could something like this be put together? 500,000 people gather, and thank God everything goes great.
However, as our sages say, you must not rely on a miracle, and so the police are here as well, preparing to block the roads to Meron and serve the public with an information center where they will be directing the crowd by phone. It's already kind of late for this year, but anyhow, when should one arrive in Meron to avoid the traffic?
From the eve of Lag BaOmer, already in the morning, there will be many people here. And so whoever wants to come here without getting stuck in the traffic jam should be here already early in the morning. It's a great merit to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that so many people come to such a small and crowded place. We hope that this year, like every year, it will go as planned. And we may see with our eyes Rabbi Shimon rise from the dead, but if that doesn't happen, may everything go through safely and peacefully, and may all the prayers be accepted. After all, that's the essence of this day. It's happiness with Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, on a day that is known to be a day of salvation. Salvation that the nation of Israel is in need.
This year, part of the preparations in Meron was that of INN TV, as we put together our video equipment, preparing for the 26-hour live broadcast.
So that was before Lag BaOmer. What happened in Meron on Lag BaOmer was a different story. On Monday evening, as the sun was coming down, around 250,000 people gathered near the tomb. The afternoon prayer of Mincha was recited. After that, psalms were read. And then, after nightfall, when Lag BaOmer began, the evening prayer of Arvit was recited. And two renowned Hasidic rabbis lit the traditional Lag BaOmer bonfires. And then it began more than 24 hours of continuous dancing and celebration. for those who preferred a more quiet and mellow activity for Lag BaOmer, there was another event that took place right next to the Rashbi's tomb, as a bonfire was lit near the tomb of a sage known as Rabbi Yochanan, the shoemaker. Another thing that went on there in Meron was the traditional chalake haircut. There is a tradition to wait until a boy's third birthday before giving his first haircut. The third birthday is a significant stage in the life of a Jewish boy. It is then that he officially begins his Torah education and starts to wear a kippah and tzitzit. In Israel, many boys get their first haircut on Lag BaOmer at the tomb of the Rashbi. It's an incredibly joyous scene as thousands of boys receive their first haircut there, all in one day. Another very interesting phenomenon in Meron was the free food. Charity organizations raised money from Jews from all over the world who wanted to take part in the Meron celebrations but could not actually arrive. Now remember, we're talking about free food for hundreds of thousands of people.
Here we are in charge of the kitchens of the Rashbi tent organizations. We are preparing the food for the large celebration tonight. This evening, 100,000 folks will be here. Now here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pots of cholent. Every pot amounts to 700 servings. Here we have cholent, meat, very delicious. And this is only a small part of the overall cooking. Now here we have kugel. Every pan holds 100 servings, 500 kugels, which equals to 50,000 servings. And this is only a small part of the overall kugels. Here we have 10,000 eggs and hard-boiled eggs, a few tons of potatoes, a few tons of vegetables. Raw material cooked tonight to serve tomorrow. Here we have the cold drinks given out today for the great segula of Chayrota. 10 trucks of liquid. Now this complex was established a week ago, working 24 hours a day, 30 to 40 volunteers. Today we have 200 volunteers helping, and they will operate this big production. Large dining rooms, doling out drinks, coffee, and all the rest.
Wow. On Tuesday, as the sun began to set over the Galilean mountains, another bonfire was lit, as if to continue the Lag BaOmer celebrations yet another day. Okay, now let's visit some of the sites adjacent to Meron. First of all, let's visit the city of Tzfat, situated on the hill right across the tomb of the Rashbi.
Tzfat, one of the 4 whole cities in the land of Israel, together with Tiberias, Jerusalem, and Hebron. The traditional procession bearing the Torah scrolls from Tzfat to Meron is only a part of the enchanting spiritual world of Tzfat. Mount Meron and the tomb of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Rashbi, is visible from almost every corner of every house. Tzfat is a city of sanctity and Jewish art. The 1837 earthquake in Tzfat devastated more than 50 synagogues and schools of Torah learning. Some of them survived, some were rebuilt. There's no doubt that one of the most important synagogues in Tzfat is the Ari synagogue, which is graced by unique artwork.
The sacred ark was made of wood, hand-carved by an artist overseas, and was brought here after an earlier synagogue was destroyed in the earthquake.
Art and painting are found in Tzfat not only in the synagogues, the main field of art that the residents of Tzfat were involved in for many years is the field of weaving. In the weaving workshop, we go back a few hundred years as we see the ribbon and the loom.
The water stream adjacent to Tzfat in ancient times flowed strong all year round, taking its water from Mount Meron and emptying it into the Sea of the Galilee, the Kinneret. This sharp drop in the water itself, as well as the amount of the water, was enough to drive water wheels with enough momentum that it helped to run the looms.
That was just a small taste of Tzfat, which presents a fascinating combination between art galleries, magnificent sceneries, and musicians, together with synagogues, rabbis, and yeshivot.
Many tombs of historical Jewish sages are located in northern Israel. Let's visit the tombs of Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel and Yoni Kempinski.
A tour in the Galilee shows us how much spirituality and materialism is integrated in the land of Israel. Among the wonderful views and the lush greenery are embedded the tombs of the tzaddikim, the righteous sages. Throughout the year, pilgrims have come to pray and receive inspiration from these holy and righteous men.
The merit of the righteous sage will protect the person who comes to pray and pay his respects at his tomb. We don't pray to the sage, rather we ask God to fulfill our requests and answer our prayers in the merit of the sage.
This is the tomb of Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel. According to tradition, 30 students of Hillel the sage were said to have glowed with the Shekhinah, the divine presence, as did Moses, and 30 as Yoshua bin Nun. The greatest sage of them all was Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel.
He wrote a commentary on the Bible. He wanted to interpret what will happen at the end of days, but he wasn't allowed to do so. It is written that he was the greatest student of Rabbi Hillel. Rabbi Bartanura said that when Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel would learn, due to the abundance of his holiness, and in the merit of his holiness, the angels would come to listen to his learning, and the birds that flew above would be burned by the holiness of the angels.
Among the visitors to the tomb of Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel, you can find people from all walks of Israeli life: religious, secular, traditional, married, single, old and young, and the very young. Each visitor has his or her own prayers and requests, but to this gravesite, a great and important value and virtue is ascribed.
This place, the tomb of Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel, is known to have the unique quality of bringing marriage to those who seek it.
Here outside the next tomb we visited, there is a circle sketched on the floor. Now this is not the original circle from the story, but it does remind us of the miracle from the story of Rabbi Yoni Kempinski, the circle maker.
There was a period in which there was a drought in the land and no rain in sight, and so they brought Yoni to Jerusalem to pray. He drew a circle in which he prayed for rain. That's why they call him Ma'agel, the circle maker. He stood inside it and said to the Holy One, blessed be He, I will not move from here until there will be rain. And rain fell, and every drop was like a big barrel. And so he drew another circle and said, that was not what I asked for. I asked for a rain of blessing. And then, thank God, the rain did indeed fall, and so ended the drought in the land of Israel.
The deed of Rabbi Yoni Kempinski reminds us that we must not make a distinction between this world, the world of nature, and the miracles of God. The Holy One, blessed be He, is connected to everything that happens in this world, including rain, success in business, and the raising of a family.
People come here with prayers about rain, about making a living, and also for other things that happen in life. To have children, to have a happy marriage, to find a mate, for everything. They come here with belief and faith.
Two other sages who were buried in the Galilee are Abaye and Rava.
This is the top of Mount Yavnit. It was here that the torches were made for the days of Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of each month. In Jerusalem, they would light a torch, which would be carried to the Galilean mountains to serve as a sign for distant communities that the new month has begun. From here, we descend a short path to the graves of Abaye and Rava. The mountains in the Upper Galilee, and especially surrounding Meron, have nestled within them tombs of many of the sages of Israel who lived in the era of the Second Temple and afterward. From the heights of their lofty peaks, you can see an astonishing view.
Around us is the Beria forest, the pine forest planted by the Jewish National Fund in the 1950s. Across in the Beria forest, we can see Mount Dalton, basalt mountain upon which is located the grave of Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. When you look a little to the right, towards the east, we can see the woods of the mountain forest planted with oak trees, Mount Aviatar, where there is also a grave of a holy person, Rabbi Yehuda ben Kima. If you descend from Mount Aviatar at the bottom and towards the east, you reach the Chatzor stream and the Chula Valley.
People come on pilgrimage to these well-known places in the Galilee to prostrate themselves and pray at holy graves, which have been preserved for hundreds of years. On one of the peaks of Mount Yavnit, they found the graves of two chavrusas, partners in learning, whose Torah experience filled many pages in the Gemara, in the Talmud, Abaye and Rava.
We are near Tzfat, one of the four holy cities in the land of Israel. Many people are buried in this area. Those who lived here in the Holy Land and those who lived in the diaspora and stated in their wills that they wanted to be buried in the land of Israel. It appears that Abaye and Rava, who were Amoraim in Babylon, also stipulated in their wills that they wanted to be buried in the land of Israel. And it's very likely that they were interred in this ancient cave on Mount Yavnit.
Throughout the year, hundreds of people visit this place. There are some people for whom sitting and learning Torah in the shadows of these great Torah giants brings a feeling of exaltation.
I've seen many salvations in this place, in making a living, in health, things that have really happened in this particular place.
Okay, that's all for this week. We'll be back next week with another edition. Until then, from all of us here at INN TV, Arutz Sheva, Shalom.